It's a very emotional time for neo stock investors. At least some of them. I've seen enough in the comment section, and I haven't been able to get to the comments like I normally would and try to. I've also seen some of the things, the posts on social media, and it's a wild time for sure. But there actually are a couple of things I want to address. One of them is emotion is the enemy of an investor. I'm just going to say it. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Now let's move on. How do I offset the emotion? Well, this is something I apply in life, and I've got it pulled up. It's on my Twitter. It's also on the YouTube. And so there's a reason I'm focusing on this. Become aware, understand, take action. These are the 3 steps. Interestingly enough, they come from discernment of spirits. They're from a spiritual component, but they're very practical and logical when applied. And it's very helpful, even in this case. And we'll walk through this as an example of asking questions and how that helps me get clarity with what I'm doing. So here's the comment that I do want to focus on, because I saw Kevin put this comment up, and a lot of people, I think at least 7, had clicked the thumbs up. So they are apparently annoyed with me because I was asking questions. Someone was in the comments section talking about their losses or that they're down on NIO. And I asked them questions. And my questions have a purpose, but it's not to challenge anyone. It's rather to have them challenge themselves in case they haven't previously gotten clarity with what they're doing. So Kevin was annoyed that I was asking questions. And here's what Kevin says. Most have been holding this stock for a minimum 3 to 4 years of straight downside. Now, Kevin, you never did clearly tell me what the heck you're doing or why you bought or how long you're going to be in it. So you're not answering the questions, but I now have to speculate. And based off what you're saying here, it looks like 3 to 4 years was longer than what you plan on being in this thing, which to me is very short term. But that's where it's important to recognize we're all different. And any 1 or 2 or 10 or 100, different perspectives doesn't mean someone is right and someone else is wrong, because we all have a different perspective, a different risk tolerance, a different sense of time frame and how long we're willing to wait on things to come through. And so this is the new YouTube channel, and I'm wanting to focus, and really it's about you. The ultimate investment is yourself. But these steps are really helpful. Become aware, understand, take action. Let's walk through these, and let me show you how it makes a difference for me. The asking questions brings clarity. That's awareness, the first step, which improves my understanding. Now I have this running on the ticker at the bottom of the screen, so you can read along if you'd like. So improving the understanding is step 2. And then I'm able to make a better decision. This leads to a decision or an action in line with my view, my time frame, and my risk tolerance level. Now, Kevin, who's the commenter in this case, and the 7 people, and maybe more have clicked the thumbs up on that since then. Let's say there are 10 of us, and all 10 of us have a different idea for what our risk tolerance is. In other words, let's say I have an extremely high risk tolerance level, so I can handle the stress and I don't really freak out or get emotional or that sort of thing. But maybe there are 2 or 3 people who absolutely freak out and look at the stock price throughout the day, every day, and they just stress out over it. These are really different risk tolerance levels, right? And that doesn't mean one is better than the other, but they are different. And that's why when I ask the questions, I'm not trying to challenge anyone in a negative way. I just hope that people can have some understanding of what they're doing and why they're doing it. So for me, it's helpful to have outlined these things. And in fact, now I'm going to show you my 3 first major growth phases. Now, I identified these several years ago. So what this means is I knew this was a long-term, meaning years and years out, not for sure how many years. And we're still waiting to find out, because the first major growth phase for me was market awareness. Global market awareness is still a ways off for this company. A lot of people here in the US still have not heard of NIO. And even in China, they're still becoming known. So it is still really early. We're still in this first major growth phase. That's where we are. Okay. And so that has nothing to do with stock price in my mind. I'm not thinking about the stock price. I'm thinking about where are we with my 3 major growth phases. This is what I identified several years ago. The second one is profitability. NIO has flirted with profitability in the recent earnings call, but only one of the analysts covering NIO even caught that or realized that. And so we're a ways out, at least from, there's a big disconnect on that happening. And let's say it does take a few more years. Okay, then profitability is still ways off. So for me, okay, there's still more time. That's all that means to me, because the third major growth phase, and in fact, it's funny, in a future video, I will highlight and share one of these clips from me from, it might've been the first video I ever did about NIO. I talked about BaaS, battery as a service. And I knew this was different. I knew this was a very innovative thing. I didn't exactly know how it would look down the road, which is why I had this idea of, well, after there are 1 million NIO vehicles on the roads, then I'll have a better sense, a better idea. At that point, NIO will be closer to being a mature company, and I can kind of, refocus and do like a reset, a retake on everything, and determine where things are and if I want to do anything differently at that point. But we're not even at, I don't think, 500,000 cumulative deliveries of NIOs on the roads, which means we're still some years out. But that's as I had identified it for myself several years ago. So this shifts the thinking and everything that goes on. I'm going to say this too, because I've thought about this, and I've never said it in a video, but for all the people who talk about the stock price action, if you're not buying or selling on a particular day, what does it matter what the stock price is? Not just for NIO, for anything. It doesn't. Unless you're making a move, unless you're planning to take action on something, the stock price is moot. But that's just my thought. And I'm not here to give financial advice. I absolutely want no part of that. But I do want to challenge people in a positive way to say, hey, ask yourself questions, because if you didn't know why you got in, if you didn't have a time frame identified, if you didn't consider, well, what if this thing takes longer, then maybe it's time to ask yourself more questions like that so that you can have a better sense of what you're doing. I want people to win, whatever that looks like. And my view, my perspective, certainly my risk tolerance is not going to be the same as other folks. And maybe no one else's is going to be the same as mine. But that doesn't mean any of us are wrong. It just means we're unique. And that's kind of a cool thing. But it also, I think, revalidates or validates the importance of having that sense of awareness. Become aware, understand, take action. What are you doing and why? That's why I ask the questions. And, apparently people are annoyed with that. But perhaps if the people had asked the questions of themselves in the first place, they wouldn't be annoyed. Or perhaps if they would ask the questions of themselves now, they will stop being annoyed, because again, it'll help them get a better sense of themselves and where they're at. And I've got it on the new YouTube channel, which I have more things going on than I can possibly manage and handle. And I'm having to cut back on some of my workload on different projects and investments and things that I have going on. But I'll be excited when I can roll out and share some more things on this new channel, because I really believe the ultimate investment is self. And these 3 steps, these core pivotal underlying steps, are so important and so helpful. They've been really, really, they've allowed me to make a lot of positive changes in my life. And I've been through a lot. And some of it is pretty crappy stuff. I don't like to whine or complain. I'm not here to do that. But because of all the crappy stuff I've been through, that's one of the reasons I have a very high risk tolerance. And so, it's also worth noting that. But again, we're all different. It's a beautiful thing. It's a wonderful thing. Ask yourself questions so that you can have a better sense of awareness, what you're doing, why you're doing it, and I wish the best for everyone. Have a great weekend. We'll see y'all again very soon.